Initializing Techman systems. Neural sync complete. Welcome to Techman channel.
Hey YouTube, I'm going to try to recap a video that I made last fall on a vehicle where I did a head gasket and my phone broke. So I lost the video, unfortunately, because there isn't many, I couldn't find many videos on this. But what I have is 2002 GMC Envoy. It has the 4.2 liter L6 engine in it. First and foremost, before you do a head gasket in this, you have to have this tool. It cannot be done without it unless you want to tear the whole engine apart. It also comes with this part as well that holds, it goes in the very back, and it holds the cams in top dead center while you're doing the job. And I'll explain what this tool here does when I get to that part. Well, what you have to do is, what I did was I took this pipe off, which is your AC coolant line. It didn't have any AC coolant in it, so I popped this bolt off, and then it's bolted on the side here, a little retainer. You take this off, you take this 10 millimeter bolt out, and then this whole piece can come up, and I put it over here just out of the way. You have to take the air box off and the top here off, and you get over here, you will have to remove the belt. There is a tensioner down there that you put a long socket wrench on, or a breaker bar, and you could pull that up to loosen the belt. You take the belt off, you take the alternator off, you have to take this plate off, which is two 15 millimeter bolts here. Take the computer off. I numbered these plugs even though they really stayed in the same spot. I just pulled them out. You take the computer off, and then down, this is the intake manifold, and down underneath the intake manifold there's a bunch of 8 millimeter bolts, and I think there's two here, two there, two in the back. I think there's 8 of them, I think. The one in the back is really hard to get to. You'll need a small 1/4 inch swivel socket. That's what I used on that, with a 8 millimeter deep dish deep socket. So you take this off. You also have to remove the wiring harness that goes up under here over, and it connects to all your coil packs. All the coil packs are down there. It also connects some sensors in the front here, your cam sensor, your cam solenoid. This runs down, I believe it runs down to the, I'm not sure if you can see that, it runs down to the O2, one of the O2 sensors on the exhaust. Once you get all this off, you can access all the bolts for the timing cover, or the cam cover, whatever you want to call it. There are more bolts underneath here, and then way back there as well. Once you get that off, you'll see that you have 2 cam gears here, right here and right here. And once you have that off, there's going to be a like a chain guard or a chain guide right here with 2, I believe they're 10 millimeter bolts here that you have to take off. Once you have that done, you take your tool here and you put it down inside, and it's gonna go in kind of like this. And what this does is this holds, there's a hydraulic piston in there that it's your chain tensioner. It holds it tight so it doesn't come loose, and if it comes loose, it locks open, and you'll never get it back closed unless you physically, there's a little tab on it that you can pull up and you can push it back in, but it's impossible to get to without taking the whole engine apart. So what I did was once I got this tool down, I tapped on the end with a rubber mallet gently to kind of lock it in place. It doesn't snap in or anything. You just have to be very delicate with it. But then I unscrewed it while it was in there, and I took this handle out. And what that did was that gave me clearance, because as it's sitting in there kind of like this, you can't move it. You can't get the head off because this handle is in the way. So you gently take that handle off. I got a bungee cord, and I bungee corded the chain that's in here, and I strapped it up to the top of the loop here at the top of your hood to keep it tight. If you don't keep it tight, then you will it will get loose if it gets loose at the bottom, it'll jump gears at your crank. And if it jumps gears in the crank, you're done. That's what happened to us. The guy that was helping me start this job, he let go of the chain and it dropped in there. And when he pulled it back up, the timing was way off. So what we ended up having to do is we had to take all of these pulleys off and the crank pulley. We had to drop the oil pan because the oil pan, or the underneath the oil pan, is just one bolt, a 10 millimeter bolt that connects the oil pickup tube to the front housing, or the timing chain housing in the front here. You have to take this timing chain housing off, and then you have to reset the chain. And while we did that, we replaced the chain and all the guides and the hydraulic piston. But it was quite a job, because dropping the oil pan, being that this is a all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive vehicle, we also had to pull out the front transaxles, because the transaxles go through the oil pan on this model. So it was quite a bit of work we had to do. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to me, the other guy was responsible for taking all these pulleys off, and he already had the chain off. So when he was turning the crank bolt to try to undo that pulley, he pushed the piston up into the intake valves, which are on this side. We didn't know that at the time. We didn't know that obviously the valves were bent. So when we put it all back together, started it up, we started getting a P0301 error, which is cylinder 1 misfire. I went through everything I could without having to take the motor back apart. I replaced the cam sensor, or the cam solenoid, the fuel regulator, fuel pump, a bunch of different parts. I even tried a new intake manifold. I replaced all the coil packs as well as all the plugs. Couldn't figure it out. So I took the head back apart. I couldn't see any problems with the head gasket. I thought maybe we didn't seat the head gasket down all the way, or well enough. Couldn't see any problems until I started doing a leak test on the head, and I'll try to clip that part. I did get that on video. I'll try to clip that in right here. So as you can see, those intake valves were leaking pretty good. So I replaced those two intake valves, got new head bolts, a new head gasket, another new head gasket, and put it back together. And keep in mind, the original head bolts, first of all, you have to replace the head bolts. So when you order the head gasket, order the bolts as well, because they're torque to yield bolts. They can only be torqued once, and then they're done. Not only that, but since they were the original bolts, we broke 7 out of 8 of them. I think there's 8 of them in there. There's 8, and then there's 3 smaller bolts. There's one here, and I believe there's one in the middle. But we broke all the bolts, so you don't have to drill them out. And what you do is you just drill a small hole and use a small easy out. And actually, we just used our fingers. Just to get the easy out tapped in there, we used our fingers, and they were only stubbed out a little bit. But new head bolts, put it all back together, and so now it runs. While we had it apart, I also replaced it. I don't know if you can see the new AC pump compressor that we put in down there. So now it runs great. I did find this summer that it needs a thermostat. So I will have to take the belt back off, take the alternator back off, as well as this bracket to get to the thermostat. The thermostat tube, or the pipe for the thermostat's right there, and it hooks in just underneath the alternator. It doesn't warm up. The coolant doesn't warm up, so I have to replace that. I think it's only a $28 part. It's a assembly. It's about 4 or 5 inches long. It stubs out, and this hose plugs directly into it. But again, can't stress enough that this tool is required. I'll try to put a link to the tool in the comments or the description. It has a 7459 on it. It was $100 for both of these, and I think I got them on Amazon or eBay. I don't remember, but you do require this. The other thing is to remember is to keep that chain tight. So once you have that chain tight and with that bungee cord, once you start lifting up on this head, you can put, I used a wooden block, and I put a wooden block in there as a spacer so that I could feed the chain off to the side, and then I bungee corded it to this so that it just kept the chain taut so it wouldn't slip at the bottom there. This would have been the second time that I did this head gasket. The other thing is it's easier to do this job with 2 people, but if you're by yourself, what I did to get this head out, because it is very long, as you can see the back, that's the back coil pack right there. So it goes all the way from back there to up here. It's very long and heavy. So what I did is that once I got this lifted up, I got that chain off to the side, I took a 1-inch board by about 6 inches, I think, and I stuck it in underneath this, and I slid it all the way to the back. And once that was done, I had the board sitting here. I was able to pull the head right up onto the board and then pick the head up and then take it over my workbench and set it down or worked on it, whatever I needed to do. And then the installation was just the opposite. I set the board down, I slid the head back down, and I pulled the board out. And it was a brand new board, so I didn't have any dirt or debris or anything on it when I started. I didn't want anything falling into the head or in the cylinders. Another thing to keep in mind, you do have to drain the coolant, and draining the coolant is a little hard on this because there isn't a drain valve. You have to get underneath the truck and undo the C-clamp, take the bottom radiator hose off and dump it to drain it, and then just stick it back on. But that's what I did this fall. Thank you.
You've been watching Techman Channel. Transmission terminated.